Hi, I'm Lamai. We meet again in Path of Exile 3.25, Settlers of Calgar League. In this patch, GGG decided to remove the melee Totem and Earthbreaker support gem. And Dawnstrider, a unique boot, is now the only source of Earthbreaker support. Along with Ancestral Bond and one of Totem Mastery at 3 to 5% hits is taken from your nearest Totem's life before you. And there have been new changes to the damage calculation from Earthbreaker support. Makes adding Dawnstrider grants supported skills deal 24% more damage. That means putting a skill slam in these boots. It's like having a 5.5 link socketed gem compared to the old patch. In this league, I play Volcanic Fissure of Snaking skill on Totem. It is suitable for me who mainly plays Abyss and carry me to finish 4 Void Stones and finish the tier 17 map. Why this skill? It can be used well for area of effect and single target and automatic snaking to targets and can be off-screen. But it is not a clean skill. It may make certain ground attacks coming from the ground invisible. And your screen shake must be turned off. And this is a totem skill, which is a proxy. It might be good in some situations. It is not good in some situations, such as your totem dying before it can perform a skill. After I tried many styles. If you aim to finish 4 Void Stones and finish the tier 17 map. As a melee totem enjoyer, I found that playing strength stacking with Brutus Lead Sprinkler is still one of the cheapest ways to go. The build. This build is called Strength Stacker, Volcanic Fissure of Snaking Totem. We made the Volcanic Fissure of Snaking skill link to the Dawnstrider to make the Totem slam instead of you. And scale damage and some defensive layer by stack very high strength. And use the items that benefit from strength to make the build work. When the game forced the use of Dawnstrider boots, we lost the opportunity to equip Alberon's Warpath, which can increase our strength by a percentage. This makes us have to look for percentage increases using other methods. On the other hand, we have 6 additional links to use instead. I chose Pyroclast Mine of Sabotage to increase fire damage to hits against enemies near it. We use this when we encounter tough monsters, such as bosses. We play SCION. And later Ascendant. Then allocate the Hierophant class for +1 to the maximum number of totems available. For other classes, you can choose as you like. For me, I chose Champion for Taunted and Aura effect. You can choose Chieftain for increased strength, Warcry, or Juggernaut if you plan on playing Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm, or Warden for spell suppression and tinctures. For my character that did not invest much. When I try normal maps my character gets around 10 million pinnacle DPS and there is about 20 million pinnacle DPS when encountering bosses when you use Pyroclast Mine. Has 80% attack block, and 100% spell suppress. Elemental resistance is 75%, including chaos, and have 100% chance to avoid elemental ailments. And if you sacrifice spell suppress and chance to avoid ailment and use versatile combatant instead, DPS can easily exceed 30 million. And if you play Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm, your DPS numbers will skyrocket to over 100 million pinnacle DPS. Offence. Our main DPS comes from using Volcanic Fissure of Snaking Totems. We're still opting to scale DPS with strength stacking. Use Brutus Lead Sprinkler, a very cheap strength stacking as a main weapon that adds 4 to 7 fire damage to attacks with this weapon per 10 strength. And popular strength stacking combo. Iron Fortress, Crown of Eyes, and Iron Will, Keystone. Strength stacking combos for those of you who have never heard of them before. Iron Fortress provides an attack block based on strength. Gives a lot of flat strength. And strength affects melee physical damage more. This mod will also apply to Iron Will, Keystone, which causes the increased melee physical attack damage bonus from strength to apply to spells as well. And the last piece. Crown of Eyes, a hubris circlet that causes spell damage, also applies to attacks at 150% of their value. That makes this combo popular for strength stacking. As a replacement for Alberon's Warpath, we're using Lethal Pride, the Timeless Jewel. It covers the skill tree with a percentage increase in strength. There is a timeless calculator online. You can search for that. Its price depends on where you place the Timeless Jewel. There are over 1,000 seeds that increase strength by 20% or more. I was lucky enough to get the jewel for 1 divine orb, and it increases strength by 35%. Other sources of strength come from the Astromentus Amulet, rare equipment, and Utmost Might in passive skill tree. If you also want to use Dexterity for Magebane, you can get both strength and dexterity from Split Personality Jewel. Aside from strength, another thing that makes our DPS very high is using the Pyroclast Mine of Sabotage. For the Pyroclast Mine of Sabotage, we used innate aura effects that increase fire damage to monsters within 35 units around the mine. This transfigured version has a higher reservation and lower base damage, but its debuff aura adds significantly more fire damage. This debuff aura scales from gem level. So if equipment can be corrupted with +4 socketed gem and with Empower gem, it will cause the Pyroclast Mine of Sabotage to have a very high effect. And in passive skill tree, there are useful nodes around Mace Mastery near Ancestral Bond. These Mace nodes are great DPS boosters. But it will waste a lot of points if we drag it up. So we can use the Impossible Escape Jewel to jump to these nodes. We got Onslaught from the Totem Cluster Jewel. There is a passive named Sleepless Sentries and passive skills that can be used, such as Ancestral Echo, Snaring Spirits, and Ancestral Reach. Watcher's Eye adds additional bonus effects from auras such as Anger, Precision, Clarity, and Determination. The rest are auras like Precision and Anger and marks like Assassin Mark that make the marked target have an added critical strike chance and multiplier. If anyone has fingers left, you can add Wave of Conviction in Arcanist Brand. Or use a method to put a curse on monsters with Battlemage Cry Link with Flammability and Auto-Exertion. It will apply a curse almost every time you leap slam. I found this method to make the mapping smoother, but not suitable when encountering bosses. Defense. Because it is a build that uses totems, your character is not in a high-risk area to attack because you have totems doing the work for you. This means that in the early stages to red map, you might not be looking at blocking and spell suppression as much. It has 75 elemental resistance and focuses on DPS first, until the point where you want to feel more comfortable and then look at protection. In defense, we still make good use of strength. In terms of protection, the Iron Fortress armor helps us block attacks better when we have strength. But its negative effect makes block spell unlucky, which makes adding spell block along with block attack does not seem worth it. I'm focusing more on spell suppress since I already have a lot of decks from Astromentis, and using the split personality jewel gives me enough decks that Magebane to work, along with some skill trees and deck space equipment which provide spell suppression. When combined, we have spell suppression up to 100%. And when chance to suppress spell damage is equal to 100, you might consider equipping Ancestral Vision, which increases your chance to avoid elemental ailments to 50. And you can add more from your skill tree and shield to make the total 100%. But all of that may not be necessary. Because the goal of playing Totem is to let the Totem handle bad situations for us and use the time your character is free to study enemies' movements around you. And move to avoid danger from those monsters. And in Cluster Jewel, there is a skill called Snaring Spirit. It is a skill that when you place a totem in the area where there is a mob of monsters, this will cause that group of monsters to receive the Hinder debuff. It is a debuff that reduces movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds. And lastly, I like armor more than evasion. Since your armor definitely has evasion because it must be dex base. So I chose Iron Reflex in the skill tree. Ultimately, your choice of defensive layer depends on what content you farm. Whatever you are happy with. Skill tree. For skill tree. Because we couldn't play Slam Totem from the beginning because the Dawnstrider boots were only available at level 62. So initially we'll head to the left to pick up a strength stacking node for use with Brutus Lead Sprinkler, which is utmost might. In Path of Building, I have a total of 7 loadouts. Starting from before the end of Act 10, white maps, yellow maps, red maps, the first version I used to defeat pinnacle bosses and tier 17 like the versatile combatant version. My easy abyss farming by using spell suppress version. Or who wants to try other skills that use endurance charge like tectonic slam version. And because part of the skill tree is based on lethal pride, timeless jewel. So choose passives accordingly. Don't choose exactly according to the pattern I have given you. Especially in the circle of lethal pride. You can change it as you like. Equipment. At first, I was going to have you listen to a 10-minute script about equipment, but in the end I found it to be too long. So I thought it would be easier to post a picture. Then you press stop yourself. As for the full equipment, jewels, flasks, I have it in POB, with each loadout separated for you. Almost everything is a purchase. There are some things that are cheaper to craft yourself, such as belts and shields. Therefore, when summing it all up, you can start playing with a budget of less than 1 divine. But you will start playing comfortably after spending more than 8 divines approximately. And the endgame version with spell suppress and avoid elemental ailment starts at around 34 divines. But there's still room for you to squander things like Awaken Multistrike, Awaken Empower, Attribute Amulet. There is no clear ceiling. But upgrading may not add as much as you think. For me, it's enough in this league with a budget around 40 divines, then use the rest of the budget to experiment with strange things and add it to other builds. Shop mindfully, everyone. Gem. There were many different setups throughout my playthrough. Because there is a lot of trial and error. Each type has its pros and cons, depending on playstyle. And of course, every setup is available in POB. You can go look at them. I probably don't make videos very often. Maybe 1 to 2 videos per year. But it will be done until GGG removes Slam Totem from the game.